Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, the motion picture you're about to see contains scenes so terrifying, the public must be given grave warning.
Hello and good evening, and welcome everybody to the Bloody Binge Movie Show. I am your host, Sewer Dweller, and as you can see, I'm here alone again this week. Jen is still off doing what she does, taking a little bit of a break. So it's just me this week, and it is Wrestlemania Weekend. Well, I guess tomorrow starts Wrestlemania Weekend, but it is Wrestlemania this week, Easter, 420, whatever you pick your poison for the weekend. And as has become a tradition of sorts on the show, as of last year, our first episode was WrestleMania Weekend, and we did Body Slam. Body Slam is a movie that always falls under the radar when it comes to talking about wrestling movies because it's low budget and it was kind of cheesy and that, but it was still fun to watch when I was younger. But this year, we are going to watch another one, a little one that's been covered a little more often on wrestling podcasts, movies and stuff like that. We are watching Hulk Hogan in No Holds Barred. This movie was released in 1989. They did just recently celebrate their 30th anniversary and get ready to come up on their 40th anniversary. Because, 2029 isn't that far away. But it's one of them movies that if you watched wrestling in the 80s, which I did, you watched it, and which I did. The first time I ever watched this movie was December 27th. I only know this because of the pay-per-view. I've looked up the information on it. I would never remember that off the top of my head. But in 1989, when this movie came out, Tiny Lister trained and actually became and performed in a wrestling ring. He was a wrestler for most of the year of 1989. Wrestling at SummerSlam, wrestling at Survivor Series, and his final match would be on December 27th, or at least would air on December 27th. It was taped way before, as part of a double feature on pay-per-view for this movie, where it was called No Holds Barred, the movie and the match. So you rented, my mother got this for me for Christmas in 1989. This was one of my Christmas presents. So you basically rented it, you turned it on, you watched the movie on pay-per-view, and then immediately after, there was a tag team match. Hulk Hogan and Brutus Beefcake against Randy Savage and Zeus. And that would be the last time you see Tiny Lister in a ring. Like, there is so much information from this movie we're going to get into on the second part, of course, because as usual, we're going to start the show off with some haunt industry and some horror movie news. I know there's not a lot of haunt industry news yet because, again, everybody's gearing up for the season. They're preparing. They're taking a break right now. But we're gonna jump into what news there is. I know the media event or the soft opening for Epic Universe has been in full effect for about a week or so now. So many videos coming out of that, and it looks so awesome. I do hope they get to go because I want to see that Frankenstein stuff. I also haven't seen any of the Harry Potter stuff in Universal yet. Last time I went to Universal Studios was you're talking like 2008, 2009, when they were still building Hogwarts, the first Harry Potter land. So let's jump into the news really quickly. Again, we're doing the show this week on a Thursday. We usually come to you on a Friday at 4 p.m. But we're here Thursday night, 9 p.m. because tomorrow night the dungeon opens. That's right, Hell's Dungeon will be open tomorrow and Saturday nights. I can't remember which night. We're doing a glow-in-the-dark Easter egg hunt, I believe, on Saturday. Don't quote me on that, though. But we are open this weekend, both Friday and Saturday night, 8 p.m. to midnight. And as a matter of fact, I know we're probably sick of seeing it, but we're going to go ahead and show you what's going on at the dungeon this weekend. Do you dare come out to see Bugs Bunny and Reefer Rabbit? I will be there tomorrow night. At least tomorrow night, I will be there. I haven't really figured out if I'm going to be there Saturday night because it is Wrestlemania weekend. I do a wrestling show, so I'm on the fence about it. But guys, so let's get started with the haunt industry news. Let's see. So Transworld's East Coast Haunters Convention is going to take place, I believe, next weekend, actually. With the pre-con haunt tours on April 24th and 25th. The convention days are the 26th and 27th. It's going to be 200 Halloween and Christmas vendors. It is taking place in Oaks, Pennsylvania, which is, I want to say, a suburb, I think, of Philadelphia. It's essentially, here's the way I understand Transworld. Transworld itself, when you go to the actual Transworld Haunt and Christmas convention, you're going for the business side of it. I know for the longest time you couldn't even get on the trade show floor unless you actually worked in the industry, whether it be as an owner, as an actor, as a home haunter, and you had to actually prove that you worked in the industry with either a paycheck, a business license, or some sort of proof that they accepted. I don't think that's the case now. I think anybody can go. At least most haunters can actually go. I don't think you have to prove it now. But the East Coast Haunters Convention, again, put on by Transworld, is more of a party atmosphere and more of a fun atmosphere than it is a business side. So I can't tell you for sure, simply because I've never gotten to go to either one. We're hoping right now, we are planning to go to Transworld next year. I would kill for it. It's one of those bucket list things. But it looks like you can party the night away on Saturday, April 26th, with an exclusive Halloween Nights at Eastern State Penitentiary experience. Featuring music, behind-the-scenes surprises, food and beverages, access to the Crypt Haunted attraction, and more. Costumes are encouraged on both convention days with a public costume contest happening Sunday, April 27th at 11:15 a.m. And before the main event, there will be 2 pre-con haunt tours on Thursday, the 24th. Visit 3 terrifying haunted attractions: Brighton Asylum, The Bleeding Grounds, and Subculture. And then on the Friday, April 25th, you get to visit Hershey, Dark Nights, and Field of Screams. Tickets are still available, starting at $60 for Saturday show floor access, $50 for Sunday, or $75 for both. That is, again, something that I really like to go, but it's just such late notice. There's no way I could get up the money needed to go next week. So that sucks. Plus, we got a good show next week. We got our 420 show next week. It's gonna be a few days late, but we got the 420 show next week. And don't forget, we are watching Evil Bong. So moving on, also for the West Coast next weekend, from the 25th to the 27th, the Spooky Swap Meet takes place at the Heritage Square Museum in Los Angeles, featuring 60 vendors selling a mix of used Halloween decor props and new merchandise. Spooky Swap Meet has delighted SoCal Halloween enthusiasts since its start in 2021. In addition to shopping, guests of all ages are encouraged to trick-or-treat at Heritage Square's 7 Victorian-era manors, whose exteriors have been decorated and spooked up for the weekend by a curated selection of professional and amateur haunted attraction designers, including the LA Haunted Hayride, a Mr. He Slasher, Sanatorium Emporium, Stage Fright Theaters, Samhain's Restless Farm, and more. Guests are also invited to see live performances by the Little Ghouls' ethereal duet, The Satin Puppets. Tickets are currently sold out. Well, then what's the point of putting it in a news store? Oh, Lord. That's a good one right there. Why put it? Why you make a whole big news story about it just to say, we're sold out. Don't forget also, if you are on the East Coast, if you're anywhere near the Richmond, Indiana area, which could be Western Ohio, Eastern Indiana, they're also doing let me bring it up. Where is it? This is this weekend. The Midwest Haunt Swap. We'll do this one. The Midwest Haunt Swap, buy, sell, and trade on the 19th, which is Saturday. I don't see any hours on the... I do not see any hours on it, but I'm pretty sure it's probably 9 to 5 or something like that. Do not quote me on that, though. I do not know off the top of my head what the times are. But moving on... So it has been announced that Universal Studios, are going to open what looks like is going to open a park, a whole park coming to the United Kingdom in 2031. The newly announced Universal Studios UK is set to open in 2031, located just in London. This 50 billion, I believe that's a pound sign, 50 billion pound economic impact project promises world-class immersive lands and has the potential to draw 8.5 million visitors in its first year. What does Universal's new UK theme park reveal about global tourism strategy? Who knows? But that's pretty awesome. And that's the thing, is that's why a lot of people right now are saying that Universal Studios is actually leaps and bounds, like going further than Disney is, because Disney doesn't have a park in England that I know of. I don't believe they have a park in England. And one of the things they can bank on is that there are a lot of filming locations, and I believe the studio that they actually filmed Harry Potter in is in London. So it makes perfect sense to make a Universal land out there and put a Harry Potter out there, put a Wizarding World of Harry Potter out there, in one of the lands, or a whole park out there rather, make a Harry Potter land, because it'll sell and people will go. we're seeing that now with the Epic Universe and what they've done with Dark Universe. That Frankenstein ride, it looks awesome. It looks amazing, and the animatronics are so lifelike that it's just surreal. I don't know what else to say about it. But Disney needs to step up their game. And if anybody can do it, it's Disney. Disney can definitely catch up when they really want to. But to me right now, I think where Disney's failing is that they're too busy. They're too busy, and they're too worried about refurbishing and changing their existing classic rides, that they're letting Universal, beat them at this point. But yeah, that's something exciting. That's exciting. This is actually, looking at these news stories, that's the first time I even heard of Universal Studios opening a UK park. So that's pretty exciting. Let's see. So Reaper's Realm, after 36 years, Reaper's Realm in Hammond, Indiana is closing its doors, and they are holding an online liquidation sale with over 700 items, including industrial generators, animatronics, DeWalt Craftsman tools, mannequins, props, costumes, makeup chairs, a hearse, and more. Bids are currently being accepted through April 22nd. You have 5 more days at 5:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Auction pickups are scheduled for April 23rd and 24th. Shipping is unavailable unless specifically noted in the listing item. So let's see, I brought up the page here. And let's see. It is an auctions page. It is not anything, They got some generators. There's an air conditioning unit with a transformer. Nobody's bid on that. We got a couple of Kohler Power Systems 50 John Deere diesel generators with Kohler transfer switches. There's 2 of them. The highest bidder is $60 right now. Sterling gas heating unit. Steel loading ramp. 2 more steel loading ramps. Morgan shipping container. Dry van. Strict commercial semi-trailers. The hearse is actually a 1991 Buick hearse up to $650. That is actually a pretty good buy. They got an old 96 Ford Ranger XLT pickup truck that looks like it's seen better days. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I don't know if it runs or not. $375. There's a 2005 Jayco RV slide out trailer with awning for $450. Food stand trailer for $1,000. And these are these are the highest bids right now. Mobile variable message lighted road sign on a trailer for $325. This actually looks pretty sweet though, because it's on a trailer, but it's almost like a scissor lift, like it goes up. The sign itself goes up, so that's actually pretty sweet. There's a golf cart there for $107. That is 2 golf carts. One is $170, the other is $500. There is what looks like a Z-turn. Gas powered lawn. No, that's not a Z-turn. I'm sorry. But a gas powered lawnmower. Old. This is old too. It's big and it's old. Is up to $6. There's another MTD yard machine riding tractor. Yard tractor, basically a riding lawnmower for $35. Inflatable air balloon. Industrial air blower, spotlight, and metal ground stakes for $2. Is up to $2. But there's a bunch of stuff here. You go to bid.craftauctions.com and you look up Reaper's Realm Haunted Attractions. If you're interested in buying any of this stuff. For your haunt or for your home haunt. Field of Screams in Mountville, Pennsylvania is hosting their first annual Halfway to Halloween and Music Fest. Haunt and Music Fest, on Saturday, May 3rd. Enjoy a full day of music, brews, and booze with 5 bands playing from 1:30 p.m. to 10. Food trucks, games, and entrance into the Den of Darkness Haunted House and Frightmare Asylum Haunted Hospital. Tickets are on sale now, starting at $35 for general admission, $50 for VIP. Field of Screams is one of those haunts I've been wanting to go to. The one in Pennsylvania. Everywhere has a Field of Screams. Let's not pretend that Field of Screams is one of the most used haunt names out there for especially corner mazes. So, which is fine. It's just fine. But when you say the Field of Screams, it is the one in Pennsylvania is the one that they're talking about. That's been open forever. It's in Mountville, Pennsylvania, and it's been open forever. Going through. Let's see. That looks like it might be it for haunt news, because there is not much left. So we're gonna go ahead and move over to horror movie. There's actually a bunch of horror movie news this week. But I'll do this real quick. We didn't do this past couple of weeks, mainly because Jen ain't been here. So, what have we watched this week? Well, I've got two things that we can talk about. First of all, last week I think it was last weekend. We did take the boys, both our oldest and youngest, out to see Minecraft, the Minecraft movie. The weekend it came out, we took them to see it. There was no trouble in our theater, no chicken jockey, and people throwing popcorn and essentially making a huge ass mess that, of course, they don't got to clean up. But it was a good time. The movie, I enjoyed it. Surprising, I was kind of surprised that I enjoyed it because I played Minecraft a long time ago, and the only reason I did was because the wife wanted to play it. We played it together, and that was it. And it was a very enjoyable movie. It was a very enjoyable movie. I'd watch it again. I'd watch it again, in all honesty. The boys both loved it, and it was funny. It had its moments. Jack Black is being Jack Black. I do think that Jason Momoa really didn't fit the part. Like, it probably should have. Basically, the part that Jason Momoa plays in the movie, it should have probably went to somebody who was a little nerdy. Jason Momoa is not nerdy. He is like this. Women throw themselves at Jason Momoa. You're talking long hair, full beard, muscular. Not what you would assume. Like, this is fucking Aquaman, okay? This is fucking Aquaman playing a nerd, kind of. A nerdy loser, I guess is the best way to put it. So that's the only down. Well, the only other thing is the cat. Like I said, the casting is probably the only thing. The girl they hired to play, and this isn't going to ruin the movie or anything like that, but the girl they signed to play the sister, who was supposed to be taking care of their little brother after their mom dies. That girl looks way too young to be living on her own. Like, I don't know how old this girl is. I don't know her name or anything like that. Let's look it up real quick. Not that she did a bad job or anything. It's just her looks don't fit the part. Emily Myers, I think her name is Emma Myers. She's 23, so she is old enough. It's just she doesn't look like she looks like she's still 16 years old. But I mean, if that's really the only, now think about it like this though, if that's really the only thing I can say negative about the movie, that's really a positive, because that's just me being nitpicky, in all honesty. So I'd say definitely give it the chance with the kids, or wait till it comes on, on Blu-ray or DVD and that. The other movie that I watched, let me bring it up on here because I gotta remember the title of it. I went ahead and gave Mark Polonia another chance. We did a Mark Polonia movie on the show. We did Sharkula. And where's this movie? Sharkula was trying to bring the movie up. It is for free on Tubi. I watch a lot of Tubi, guys. I'm not gonna lie. There's so many Mark Polonia movies on here, and I'll watch them. He doesn't do bad. It's just sometimes the acting gets a little silly. Bride of the Werewolf is the movie. I watched this last night. The wife got home late, or the other night. The wife got home late, and so I watched the movie before she got home. And basically, the premise of the movie is two women who survive an attack on a dark road are taken in by a kind stranger who happens to be secretly under the midnight curse of a werewolf. Starring Mel Heflin, Jade, Michael LaFont, Anna Tomic, Tony Brown, and James Careless. I'm not going to say too much negative about it. I enjoy low-budget movies. I enjoy the cheesiness, the schlock, the campiness of movies. I like these movies. And I enjoyed it. The Bride of the Werewolf, I actually enjoyed. I enjoyed it. I can definitely suggest it. If you can take the bad acting, the acting's terrible. But if you can get around the bad acting, you can get around. You'll be able to watch the movie. You'll enjoy the movie. I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was good. Story didn't make too much sense, but it's a low budget movie. We expect. But those are what I watched this week. So let's go ahead and move on to our horror movie news. And we are going to start with Twisted Metal Season 2. They did a teaser announcement, and Season 2 is going to premiere July 31st on Peacock. I don't know if you guys have watched it or not. Let me know. Let me know if you guys watched it or not in the comments and that. But I enjoyed the first season. I thought it was really good. Anthony, God, what's his? Nah, see, I am so bad with names. Anthony Mackie. Was it Anthony Mackie? I'm pretty sure it is Anthony Mackie, but yeah, Anthony Mackie, the new Captain America, did a really good job as the lead role in the show, and Samoa Joe did a great job playing. Sweet Tooth. He plays the physical form of Sweet Tooth. Somebody else did the voice. Samoa Joe does a great job. He's just hilarious. And the stories that had the perfect amount of humor, perfect amount of action. I don't remember there being too much gore. But there were people dying, getting killed in that. But everybody did a great job. And yeah, Will Arnett does the voice of Sweet Tooth while Samoa Joe is the physical form. Thomas Hayden Church's Agent Stone was amazing. Excuse me. Just it was great. It was a fun show to watch. So yeah, look forward to that. July 31st. So following the revelations of the season 1 finale, John and Quiet find themselves entering the Deadly Twisted Metal tournament itself in season 2. A sinister demolition derby hosted by the mysterious man known as Calypso. As they try to survive an onslaught of dangerous new foes and familiar faces alike, including the murderous clown Sweet Tooth. Things get complicated for John when he reunites with his long-lost sister, the vigilante Dollface. So that's what you get to look forward to for season 2. Season 1 wasn't actually the Twisted Metal tournament, but The story was great. It was a good story. It was fun. It is one of those shows you can actually binge watch too, because a lot happens. But yes, looking forward to that. Twisted Metal Season 2, July 31st. Moving to our next story, I'm interested in this. I am, and when I say this, everybody's going to know, probably know the story I'm talking about. I'm a big Killer Clowns fan. We met the creators and the clowns, some of the guys who played the clowns a few years ago at Horror Hounds. And one of the first things they said was, the first they talked about the game. I have played the game on, Twitch. So many social media sites out there now. I played it on Twitch a couple of times. I like the games. It's just trying to. I don't know the maps, and if I knew the maps a little better, I might have more fun playing it. That one and the video gamers. In all honesty, gamers suck sometimes. They take the fun out of it with the trolling and shit. I'm a Call of Duty player, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm one hell of a shit talker on Call of Duty. I can't lie to you, but some of the these horror movie games, they take this shit way too seriously. And that's one of the things what ruins Friday the 13th. While it's an amazing game, once people figure out the glitches in that, they would just use the glitch and that's it boosted up their scores, boosted up their ranks and things like that. Instead of just playing the freaking game. I don't see how it's entertaining to climb on top of a cabinet or something where Jason can't get to you and sit there for 20 fucking minutes. But I talk about Killer Clowns because Ryan Gosling is reportedly producing a Killer Clowns from Outer Space reboot for Amazon. Now, the only way this works, the only way I will allow this, like it fucking matters what I will allow, but the only way I allow this is if they use regular effects. I do not want to go in and watch a show or a movie with from Killer Clowns from Outer Space with CGI clowns. I don't want a CGI clown. If I see one fucking CGI clown, I'm gonna kick Ryan Gosling in the balls. If this story is true too, because I kind of have a feeling it's not very true. But Bloody Disgusting is reporting it. So according to Snyder's reports, which you can read in full behind the paywall, Ryan Gosling is on board to produce a new Killer Clowns from Outer Space project for Amazon MGM Studios. Why am I getting Oreo ads? Snyder describes the project as a remake of the 1988 horror comedy that was created, written, and directed by the Kyoto brothers, which of course centered on killer clowns who came down from outer space in a big top spaceship to terrorize a small town with their popcorn guns, cotton candy cocoons, acid pies. I love that. I love the acid pie scene. And various other unique implements of destruction. I do. I love that acid pie. What are you going to do with them pies, boys? And they throw about 200 pies at him and he disintegrates. Amazon has controlled the rights to the Killer Clowns property ever since the company acquired movie studio MGM back in 2022, rebranding the studio Amazon MGM Studios. I'm getting more freaking Oreo stuff. The Kyoto brothers have been trying to get a franchise continuation off the ground since way back in the late 1980s when the original movie came out. With the property's popularity growing in more recent years, thanks to an endless stream of merchandise and prime product placement on Spirit Halloween shelves and every Halloween season, or each and every Halloween season, and also let's not forget Spirit is owned by Spencer's, and Spencer's has Killer Clown stuff as well. It would seem the killer clowns are closer than ever to returning to our lives, and perhaps Ryan Gosling is the guy to make it happen. Stephen Chiodo had explained back in 2021, we have been trying to get the sequel going since 1988, and Hollywood is just a horrible machine. The film didn't really get much box office, and when you want to get a sequel done, they look at the box office. They don't regard cult films as something to invest in. He continued, we have this whole long trilogy, something we call a trilogy in 4 parts because we include the original, a TV series for cable or streaming, and it follows the adventures of all the characters as they go through their lives crushed after the first invasion. It would make a great miniseries, so we're constantly selling that for people who are interested. The one thing that the Chiodo brothers said is that they wouldn't make another movie without if they were going to use CGI. So hopefully we get static clowns and not AGI clowns. So moving on. Party Till You Drop with Night of the Dead Sorority Babes, starring Lynn Lowry. Again, all these articles are on Bloody Disgusting. I hope you don't hear my dog barking in the background. But all these articles are on Bloody Disgusting. I had to do a quick... I've been really busy today, so I had to do a quick look up. But do you miss sleazy, campy, low-budget horror movies like Sorority Babes and the Slime Bowl, Bowl-O-Rama, Nightmare Sisters, and Sorority House Massacre? Get ready to party till you drop dead with Night of the Dead Sorority Babes. Now available on Blu-ray and digital from Bayview Entertainment. Joining a sorority is all fun and games, but Gamma Rho Kappa hides a dark secret. When 2 villainous entities initiate gorgeous college girls, will any pledges survive? Horror icon Lynn Lowry from The Crazies stars with Anna Myrna, Attack of the Corn Zombies, Angel Nicole Bradford, Crack Coon, Anna Clary from Mutilator 2, Mel Heflin, Mrs. Claus. Actually, Mel Heflin. I think I just saw something with her in it. Kelsey Livingood, Mia Katz, Ashley Amberlin, and Jessa Flux from Murder Size. Bradford co-directs with Steve Herman, Attack of the Corn Zombies, who also wrote the script. So yeah, it's the poster. Will I be able to put this in? I will not be able to put the poster in the chat, but it's a very scantily clad group. And finally, in our horror movie news, Silent Night, Deadly Night. They're doing a reboot, and they have their Billy. So the naughty will be punished in Cineverse and Bloody Disgusting's upcoming Silent Night, Deadly Night, a brand new vision for the fan favorite slasher franchise from the 1980s. Please just call it a fucking reboot. Don't try to use corporate words. Just call it a fucking reboot and get it over with. Bloody Disgusting can exclusively report this afternoon. Well, I mean, yeah, because you guys are making the fucking movie. That Rowan Campbell, who memorably played Corey Cunningham in David Gordon Green's Halloween Ends, has been cast in the iconic role of Billy Chapman for our upcoming Silent Night, Deadly Night reboot. Oh, there you go. Then I call it a reboot. I can honestly say I haven't seen Halloween Ends or Halloween Kills. I didn't care for the new Halloween, so I didn't watch Ends or Kills or anything like that. I didn't. I'm sorry, but I didn't. But I mean, if they hire him to be Billy, he kind of does have the look from what I'm seeing on him. He does have the look of Billy. So I think he'll do fine. He'll be fine. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm trying to see if there's any more stories that any more stories to report. Now I'm gonna say no. So we're going to do something, I guess you can call it a special. It is WrestleMania Weekend. I wanted to have I wanted to do a wrestling show. So I wanted to do an episode of Hardcore Heels. But unfortunately, I didn't get around to doing it. I've been very busy this week, so I haven't got to make my picks yet. And since, again, it's a slow news week, we've actually already been through all the news stories. I'm going to use my Bloody Binge movie show time to make my WrestleMania 41 picks for this weekend. If you are a wrestling fan, if you're not a wrestling fan, give me 20 minutes. Give me 20 minutes of your time. Come if you want to leave and come back for the movie. But if you're a wrestling fan, stick around. Put in the comments if you agree or disagree with me. That's fine. Whatever you want to do. Everybody has their own opinion. This week has been a very funny week. If you're a wrestling fan that reads the stuff on the internet, because the IWC is getting cooked, and I mean they are getting fucking wasted right now. Because the biggest company in the world has flat out told them, we don't give a shit. There are 200 to 300 people in the IWC, on Twitter and Facebook, and on social media, whining and bitching and moaning and groaning about WrestleMania 41. And essentially, Triple H and Nick Khan, who is the CEO of WWE, flat out said, we don't fucking care about the IWC. Let them complain, because and Triple H pointed out Cody Rhodes, but I always point out the Jey Uso situation. Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble in January, and people lost their minds. People online lost their minds, calling it a fumble, saying that he didn't deserve it, and he shouldn't be the winner, and all this stuff. Again, 200 to 300 people online. You go to a fucking stadium, a fucking arena full of 10 to 15,000 people every week, and they're all yeeting, they're all doing the hand motions and everything like that. So yeah, nobody cares. So WrestleMania 41 2-night event. We're going to start with night one. And we're going to start with the match that has been announced is going to open the show, which is our World Heavyweight Championship match between Jey Uso and Gunther, the champion Gunther. So the build for this has been going on for a very long time. It didn't take about a week or two before Jey Uso accepted or decided to challenge Gunther after winning the Royal Rumble. I think everybody knew it was going to be Gunther. So they've been going back and forth. Gunther's been attacking him every week. A couple of weeks ago, Jimmy decided to take up the challenge for Jey and challenge Gunther to a match on Raw. Slapped the shit out of him when he challenged him. So then the very next week, we have the match, and I think Gunther won. I can't remember if Gunther won or was a disqualification, but I think Gunther won. And ended up handcuffing Jey to the corner while he beat the living shit out of Jimmy Uso. Beat him to a bloody pulp. And that pissed Jey off. So for like 2 weeks now, when he came out, he wasn't eating. He just came out. So my pick for Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship, I think we're getting a new champion. I think Jey Uso's going to walk out of WrestleMania with the World Heavyweight Championship. He's selling too much merch. The crowd's going crazy for him. This will be the 4th time these two have met, and Gunther has won every match so far. Jay needs to win this. And it didn't really need to win it. Either one could win it. I wouldn't be upset if either one wins. I love Gunther. I think Gunther's amazing. Jay, what can you say negative about Jey Uso? He's gotten himself over. He's gotten himself to the point where he's a main eventer. So yeah, Jey Uso, I think Jey Uso is leaving WrestleMania with the World Heavyweight Championship. Again, just an opinion. I'm not going to go in any specific order. I wanted to do that one first because they've announced today that will be the opening match for WrestleMania is going to be Jey Uso and Gunther. I want to see something real quick though, because I don't know if they've done the reveal yet, the stage reveal. Because normally they do a stage reveal. Oh, but I am looking at something cooler. Mattel and WWE Elite have revealed a Demolition Smash figure, and I want and the Umaga. I'm sorry, I got distracted looking for that. I'm a big action figure collector, and I'm not gonna lie, the Demolition one and the Umaga one look freaking amazing. But moving on, we have Jade Cargill versus Naomi. And a feud that started back at Elimination Chamber. Turns out Naomi's the one that attacked Jade Cargill last year. I'm not going to go through all the feuds in that, but is it safe to say Jade Cargill this is going to be her first WrestleMania singles match? And I think it's safe to say Jade Cargill is going to walk out with a win. She's got a long career ahead of her. Naomi's going to be wrapping it up in the next couple of years. But I think she's actually Naomi's doing a really good job as a heel. But Jade Cargill is getting the win on this match. Moving to our next match on the list, Rey Mysterio versus the rookie El Grande Americano. Chad Gable. In a mask. But El Grande Americano is winning. He's getting the win. He's going to get his WrestleMania win. I love this gimmick. I love this. It's hilarious, and I love the meltdown online from it. So El Grande Americano is your winner of that. Is going to be your winner of that one. Moving on, United States Championship match. We have LA Knight. Yeah, the champion facing this will be Jacob Fatu's first WrestleMania. I'm sorry, Matt. If you're listening, Matt, I'm sorry. For those who don't know, Matt from Matt and Monsters, huge LA Knight fan. I don't think LA Knight's walking out with the United States title. I think Jacob Fatu is going to get his first championship run. It's going to be a United States championship. And he may never fucking lose it because Jacob Fatu is awesome. LA Knight is good. LA Knight is the main eventer. But Jacob Fatu is just so badass. And that's something wrestling desperately needs right now, is a legitimate badass. So I do believe LA Knight is walking out with the United States Championship. Now we move on to the World Tag Team Championship. We have the War Raiders versus the New Day, the evil New Day. Not much of a feud going into this. It's just a title match. New Day's winning this. Does anybody really think the New Day isn't winning this match? They're in a hell of a heel run. They're doing an amazing job as heels too. The War Raiders are dropping the titles. Unfortunately, I love the War Raiders. I love their run, but the New Day is taking those titles Saturday night. Moving on to our next match, WWE Women's Championship. This has been a very controversial feud. We have the champion Tiffany Stratton facing the winner of the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble, Charlotte Flair. It's been a very controversial feud because they went off script a couple of weeks ago, and both said some very personal things about each other, and probably both should have been punished for it, but they were not. Everybody forgave them. Or not really everybody. The online crowd didn't, but everybody behind the stage forgave them. But we have Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair, and I think Tiffany needs to keep the title. I do. I think Tiffany Stratton keeps the title. There's so many young women. There's so many great female wrestlers. Great wrestlers. I'm just gonna say great wrestlers. Fuck that. Because the women in NXT outshine the men just so hard. But there's so many great women in NXT. There's so many young talent coming up the line that I think Tiffany's going to have a pretty decent run. I think Tiffany Stratton is keeping the belt. And finally, the main event for night 1 of WrestleMania. We have Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. And I'm going to tell you, I don't fucking know. Any one of these guys could win, but my money's going to either be on Roman Reigns or Punk. I don't think Rollins is taking the victory here, but that could be why Rollins takes the victory, is because people don't think Seth Rollins will be taking the victory. So I don't know if I could guess this one. I would say Punk, honestly, because we don't know. This will probably be his last This could be one of his either his last or one of his last WrestleManias. You gotta remember, CM Punk's my age, and I just turned 47 on Monday. And he's no spring chicken, and he did take almost a decade off of wrestling. So I'm gonna say Punk, but in all honesty, I don't know. I'm not confident in that. I am not confident in that guess. So with that being said, we're gonna move over to night 2, which is a much shorter card. First up, we're going to go down the list because they haven't said what's going to, start night 2. They'll probably say that Saturday night or something. But we're going to start with AJ Styles, the phenomenal AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. AJ's retiring soon. We know it. He's already flat out said that the contract that he signed last year with WWE will be his final contract as an active wrestler. He'll probably sign on as, he'll sign a Legends deal. He'll sign on to be an agent or something, maybe even go down to Florida and train. But he has said that this will be his final contract that he will sign. Logan Paul is just getting started. Logan Paul gets one of the loudest reactions, whether it's a positive or a negative reaction. He still gets one of the loudest reactions every week on Raw. I think Logan Paul is winning this match. I think it'll be dirty. It'll be a dirty win. It won't be a clean win, but I do 100% believe that Logan Paul wins this match. Moving on to the Sin City Street Fight between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, and I don't know. Both of these guys kind of could either one of these guys could win. It's not been that hot of a feud. I think it'll be a damn good match. But I couldn't tell you. I'm going to go with Drew. I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre because he's just killed it these past couple of years with his character and his gimmicks in that. So I'm going to go Drew, I guess. But again, this is a toss-up. Now we're going to move to yet another toss-up. The Intercontinental Championship Fatal 4-Way match. Braun Breaker versus Dominic Mysterio versus Penta in his first WrestleMania versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship in a Fatal 4-Way. Again, it's a toss-up, but I almost want to see Dominic win. We know they're breaking up the New Day soon. It's coming. There's been tension between Finn Balor and Dominic as it relates, but I kind of think Dominic. If anybody's gonna win, if anybody's gonna take the belt, if anybody's gonna take the belt off Breaker, it's gonna be. I think it'll be Dominic Mysterio on this night. I don't think he's gonna pin Braun. I think he'll end up pinning Finn. I don't think Penta's going to get the pin. I don't think Braun Breaker gets it. I think Dominic Mysterio is going to win by pinning Finn Balor, which is going to set up the breakup and the downfall of the Judgment Day. So moving on now, we're going to the Women's Tag Team Championship, where we have Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, the champions, versus the upstart randomly put together team of your role model Bayley and the women's Intercontinental Champion Lyra Valkyria. I honestly think this is one of the matches that the title's not going to change hands. I think Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez walk out with the titles, and I believe after a year, I think we're going to get another Bayley heel turn. I love Bayley. I think she's an amazing wrestler. She's not working as a face. So yeah, I think Bayley turns on Lyra, and Liv and Raquel keep the belts. Moving on, we have the WWE Women's World Championship triple threat match, and I am looking forward to this match because I think this is going to steal the weekend. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. This is another toss-up, but I kind of want to see Io Sky keep the belt. That's what I want to happen. I don't know if that's going to happen. If it's not Io, it's going to be Bianca, because I think Bianca, it's been almost a year or two since Bianca's held a singles title, and she's due for a run. But I don't want to see Io Sky lose the title at WrestleMania 2 years in a row. But yeah, if my money's on Io Sky or Bianca Belair. And finally, the main event of WrestleMania Night 2, the big one, the undisputed WWE Championship. The champion Cody Rhodes defends against Mr. Invisible himself, the retiring John Cena. Now, if you want to make a special moment, John Cena wins. But if not, hello. Welcome to the show. Thank you for listening. But I honestly think Cody keeps the belt. I do. Again, it's a toss-up. I think John Cena could win. There is no question in my mind that John Cena could win the title tomorrow night or Sunday night. But again, it's a toss-up. I'm gonna go with John Cena. I just have a feeling they're gonna put it on John Cena to break Ric Flair's record. Ric Flair can't be part of WrestleMania because he signed a pretty long contract with AEW. But yeah, I'm gonna go with John Cena. So that's gonna do it with our WrestleMania predictions. We're gonna go ahead and take a break. That could very well happen. Cena could pass the torch to Cody. I got a feeling we're gonna get face John Cena again after WrestleMania. But don't put it past WWE to put the belt on Cena for the remainder of his time here, and then for his time in WWE, and then have him lose it at SummerSlam, because that would be a big deal too. And if he loses it back to Cody, or if he loses it to someone else who's climbing up the ladder, because Cody really doesn't need the torch pass, because he's already at the top of the mountain. Somebody lower on the card could actually benefit from taking the title off of Cena, but it's just so hard to say who, though. Like maybe an LA Knight or something. But guys, we've reached the 1 hour mark. We're gonna take a quick 3-minute break, and when we come back, no, absolutely not. No, John Cena's done. He's done this year. He's gonna retire. He's gonna go make movies. He'll come back, like make their random appearance on Raw or SmackDown or WrestleMania and that. But I think his active career is done after this year. He's got a lot of movies coming out. He's got a Hot Wheels movie he's making right now. But like I said, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to jump into the movie of the night, of the week, Hulk Hogan in No Holds Barred. Stick around, guys.
Greetings and shabibans. We are the Retro Reductibus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Yeah, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite Steve's trying to say is that on Retro Reductibus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh.
And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Door King Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brig.
You can listen to Retro Reductibus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.
And just Well, and just like that, am I muted? Nope, there we go. And just like that, we are back. Welcome everybody to the Bloody Binge Movie Podcast. I am your host, the Sewer Dweller. And we are celebrating, it is WrestleMania weekend. We are watching 1989's No Holds Barred, starring Hulk Hogan. Where's the list? I forget his name. Kurt Fuller, Joan Severance, Tom Tiny Lister Jr., and so many others. So this movie, not only it affected, I'll say right now, it didn't do well in theaters. I will say that right now off the bat. It did not do well in theaters. It kind of did better on home video, especially within recent years. But at the end of the day, it didn't do well in theaters at all. I'm trying to think of them. So for those who don't watch wrestling, I don't know how many people who are watch wrestling or not, but Hulk Hogan was champion for a very long time. He's one of the, I think he's number 4 on the list now, since Roman Reigns held the title for so long. But I think Hulk Hogan's like number 3 or 4 on the list now. Yeah, he'd be number 4. But we go into WrestleMania 5. It's Hogan, and Hogan wins the belt back from Randy Savage. We go a year. The year is 1988. I believe. I gotta look it up again. That's the beauty of having Google, guys. Uh, 1990. Really? That doesn't. Never mind what I was gonna say, because apparently I was wrong, because I was, or what I've been told was wrong, that maybe he went, nah, you know what, and never mind, it was a different movie. When Hogan loses the title to the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6, it was because he was going to film a movie. I originally thought it was this movie, but this movie came out in 1989. He lost the belt to the Ultimate Warrior in 1990. So, yeah, I was way off with my timeline. But I digress. Vince McMahon had a big hand in this movie. He's not listed anywhere as a producer or a writer or anything like that, but it's kind of obvious he had his hands all over this. Dennis Hacken is the official writer of the movie. He would go on to write 2 more things in 1993 and in 2000, and that was it. That was it, guys. So I really think that Dennis Hacken only put his name on this because Vince didn't want his name on it. But there's a lot of stuff you watch, and if you actually know Vince McMahon, which if you watch wrestling for a long time, you know Vince McMahon. There's a lot of shit that he would have found funny in this movie. I've seen this movie 100 times, like so many times that it's ridiculous. I love this movie. I'll tell you right off the bat, I love this movie. We're going to see if it holds up 26 years later, or 36 years later. I'm sorry. 36 years later, we're going to see if this movie holds up. The movie, No Holds Barred, stars, of course, Hulk Hogan. If you don't know who Hulk Hogan is, I don't know what rock you lived under for the past 40 years. But he was in other movies. Of course, he got his start in Rocky 3. I said Rocky 2 in the TikTok video. Rocky 3. I'm sorry. It was his first acting role. Rocky 3 as Thunderlips Patterson. Let me get down here. It's funny that 90% of pretty much all of Hulk Hogan's IMDb listings are pretty much wrestling. But Rocky 3, in 1982, he played Thunderlips Patterson. I believe it was Thunderlips Patterson in the Rocky 3 movie, in the wrestler versus boxer match when he actually fought Rocky in the match, or in the movie. Which is what led to Hulk Hogan's departure from WWE, from WWF, from Vince McMahon Sr.'s promotion. He would leave because Vince McMahon Sr. didn't want him participating in the movie, and Hogan said, "Fuck you, this is actually a really good opportunity for me," and he wasn't wrong. So he would go on to Minnesota, and he would wrestle for Vern Gagne in the AWA for a few years, building up the Hulk Hogan name, the Hulk Hogan brand. Vince saw how popular it was and brought him over in 1984, where he would beat the Iron Sheik, team up with Mr. T at WrestleMania 1, and we are off to the races. He has other stuff, of course, like Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling, a bunch of videos with Hulk Hogan. From WWF, the Love Boat. He had a cameo on the Love Boat, a cameo on the A-Team. And then he would go on, like I said, this would be his first starring role in a movie, would be No Holds Barred. This film that we are watching tonight, or that we watched for this week's show, not to mention did a cameo in Gremlins 2, the new batch. But after that, he would come out with Suburban Commando, which great movie. I love Suburban Commando. Mr. Nanny, Santa with Muscles. Let me get up. I'm trying to get to where his other movies are. I'm getting Mr. Nanny, 1993. But he would also, in 1993, he would leave World Wrestling Federation and go to the rival WCW. He would sign with them in 1993. I want to say he didn't debut until 94, but he would sign with them in 93, as he was filming a show on for Warner for TBS at the time, Thunder in Paradise. Or he's filming the movie and then he filmed the show afterwards, I believe. 22 episodes of the show. From there, he would go on, starred in an episode of Baywatch. He did a cameo in Spy Hard, The Secret Agent Club, Santa with Muscles in 1996. Three Ninjas, High Noon at Mega Mountain in 1998, which is when he was on his Hollywood Hulk Hogan run. He actually used to wrestle because he had to cut his hair for this, or wear a wig for the movie, because Hulk Hogan didn't have hair. And would wear it in the ring, actually, while he wrestled. And then, of course, Muppets from Space. And just that, I think that would be his last starring role. I don't believe he did anything else until, the Hulk Hogan, What the Hulk Knows Best. Needless to say. Also, in the movie, we have Joan Severance playing Samantha. Joan Severance, really beautiful woman. I don't think she did a lot of stuff, but nothing, to blow your mind. No Holds Barred, and See No Evil, Hear No Evil. From there, Red Shoe Diaries, Illicit Behavior, just a bunch of random stuff. But we're going to get into Kurt Fuller next. He plays Brell. He plays the bad guy. If you don't know who Kurt Fuller is, again, you're living under a rock, because he is that guy. And he is in so much. It is so hard. It would be so hard to go through all this stuff. Got to start Knight Rider as a cameraman. That's where he, as an extra, was in The Running Man as Tony, Jake and the Fat Man, I believe he was, if I remember, I think when he was in The Running Man, I think he was the guy that was supposed to have been killed or something. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Ghostbusters 2 is Hardemeyer. Going up, Bonfire of the Vanities, Capital News, Evil Destruction, Quantum Leap, Bingo, Wayne's World as Russell. I believe he's the bad guy in Wayne's World as well. He plays a bad guy in a lot of movies. Let's see, going up. He was in Stuart Saves His Family. He did a voice of Real Monsters. He was in Ladybugs with Rodney Dangerfield. Just so much. He was in so much. You know who Kurt Fuller. He's the guy in the picture that I'm using this week. He's in the avatar that I'm using there. That's Kurt Fuller. And finally, we're going to talk about Tom Tiny Lister. Everybody knows him. And it's a very fitting movie for the weekend, as everybody knows Tom Tiny Lister as Deebo. That's right, he is Deebo from the Friday movies. I believe he was in, I don't know if he was in all three or not, but big dude, got his start in Webster as a football player. He was in 8 Million Ways to Die, Armed and Dangerous. He played a bad guy, one of the bad guy security guards. We haven't seen Armed and Dangerous. Is such a good movie. Beverly Hills Cop 2, Glory Years, The Night Before, No Holds Barred, of course, as Zeus. He is playing Zeus in this movie. An episode of Matlock. Let's see. All the wrestling stuff. Did an episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Trying to go through the stuff you remember him as. Universal Soldier as GR55. Posse in 1993, The Meteor Man, Renegade, Walker, Texas Ranger, In the Heat of the Night, Don Juan DeMarco, and finally in 1995 as Deebo in Friday. Hologram Man, just so much. One of my favorite movies, he played the president in Fifth Element, and so many more. Like, he was so good. But guys, we're done talking about the cast of the movie. Why don't we just go ahead and jump in to No Holds Barred? And if you get a chance, go look up the song for the movie, because it is a great song. It is 80s ripping. But we start the movie. The title screen comes on, and we hear the legendary Mean Gene Okerlund doing commentary with Jesse the Body Ventura for a wrestling match that's about to take place. The screen opens up, and we get a close-up of Hulk Hogan doing his Hulk Hogan thing. But he is not Hulk Hogan, of course. He is Rip. I don't even think he has a last name. Just Rip. And he's coming to the ring, and he's doing a lot of the Hulk Hogan mannerisms. This scene, because there's WWF banners all over the place, but because this scene was filmed, at a taping the tapings of a WWF Superstars show. I think it was after the taping was over. They had everybody. They tried to convince everybody to stay as they filmed this scene. So here comes the World Wrestling Federation champion, Rip, to the ring, high-fiving the fans, doing his thing. Jesse Ventura is wearing some fucking chainmail on his head. Then we get to look at Rip's opponent, who is Jake Bullet, a.k.a. Bill Eadie, or more commonly known as Demolition Axe. And it's obvious I think they just threw him in the match just because his hair is still all fucked up. And he looks like he still has some of his makeup, especially around his eyes. They didn't even get a chance to take half of his makeup off. But Rip gets in the ring, and he's basically defending his title against Jake Shepard. And we get a kind of a competitive match. This is your typical Hulk Hogan match where essentially the bad guy beats him up for most of the match. Bill Eadie or Jake Shepard puts him in a sleeper hold. Rip's brother on the outside is scared for him, tells him to watch out behind him. We then cut to an office filled with a bunch of guys in suits watching the show, and we meet Brell, Kurt Fuller in all his glory. Brell is watching, and as Rip is getting choked out on the sleeper hold, and he tells them that looks like our competition might do us a favor and self-destruct, as he thinks Hogan's going to lose. There's about 20 people in his office. Still got the sleeper in, but then they do the spot that they always do in wrestling matches with somebody gets put in a sleeper hold. The arm goes up once, twice. If it falls the third time, the match is over. So, of course, the arm doesn't fall the third time. Rip starts fighting back. He gets him to it. They both get to a standing base. Rip runs him into the turnbuckle, breaks the hold. The fans are going crazy. Rip is essentially, as we say in wrestling, hulking up. Jake Shepard punches him a couple of times. Rip, it doesn't affect Rip. Rip starts punching Eadie or Jake Shepard back a few times. Runs him fires him into the ropes, hits the big boot, which in a Hulk Hogan match would be the signal that it's time to end this fucking match with the leg drop. But instead, Jake Shepard doesn't go down. Rip hits the ropes and hits a double axe handle to Jake Shepard for the 1, the 2, and the 3. Rip wins his match. Jesse the Body Ventura is losing his shit at ringside, which if you actually know the story, Jesse the Body Ventura fucking hates Hulk Hogan. In legitimately, not in wrestling, but in real life, he hates Hulk Hogan. Funny thing though is the double axe handle that Rip uses as his finisher was actually Hulk Hogan's actual finisher when he wrestled in Japan, and it was called the Axibumba. But Ventura is losing his mind. Rip is celebrating in the ring as Gene Okerlund is just getting all happy. We go back to the office and Brell is pissed. He throws the remote at the wall because he's tired of being in last place. He tells them that there'll be no thunderous celebration here, not when you're last in the ratings. And he's overdoing it by a lot. So apparently his idea of becoming first in the ratings is he wants Rip in the boardroom 10 a.m. or he wants everybody in his office 10 a.m. tomorrow morning with ideas on how to boost their ratings, essentially. We go back to the ring. Rip does his hand gesture to the fans. They raise his hand. The Fink, the legendary ring announcer, the Fink, recites him or calls him the winner, raises his arm, and Rip is posing the same way Hulk Hogan does. Rip's brother jumps in the ring. His manager jumps in the ring. They hug. They're all, they're all having fun in the mat and everything. Meanwhile, back at the station, we get a few more minutes of the celebration, and then we cut to the boardroom the next morning. Brell walks in and wants ideas. He says he refuses to grow old, waiting for Rip to ride off into the sunset, which, spoiler alert, you have another 15, 20 years. Apparently, Brel had just taken over the network and that he vowed to take it to the top. And now he finds you're going to get this word is going to be said a lot, guys. And now I find that every time this jockass, maybe that's what should be. You know what? Let's do that. Let's change this real quick. There we go. We'll change that. We'll change that down there because this is just hilarious. He calls him a jockass so many times, but he finds that every time this jockass decides to strip down to his sweet nothings and wallow around with some sweat hog, that is a Vince McMahon ism if there ever was one. So he points out to the first executive, who is Miss Tidings. He tells her that she survived his little purge, and it's now time for her to reward him with, a pitch. She says that she has taken the liberty of asking a writer to work up a high-concept sitcom. Brel doesn't like it. He says next and tells her to take a leak. Which really upsets this woman that she gets told to take a leak, where she starts crying, packs her stuff up, and runs out of the office. Brel continues to walk around the office, everybody looking scared, not wanting to look at him, as he has this glass-like figure in his hand. He turns and points to Ordway. Ordway is one of his main butt kissers. Ordway's idea is a game show because they always sell. Brel doesn't like this. He grabs a poster of Rip and says, "This sells. This is what people want to see, and this is what he wants." He tells them he asks which one of them is going to go actually get Rip for him, because apparently in this world, wrestlers don't sign with companies, they sign with networks. Now, one of Vince McMahon's most hated nemesis of all time is Ted Turner, who not only owned a network, he owned probably 3 or 4 big major networks. CNN, TBS, TNT, and the Cartoon Network all at the same time. And he also owned WCW. So when Ted Turner went and bought Jim Crockett Promotions, he called Vince up and goes, "Hey, Vince, guess what? I'm in the wrestling game now." And it pissed Vince the fuck off. So needless to say, Brel is his idea of what Ted Turner is. So Brel wants Rip to come sign with him. One of the executives signs up and goes, "But he has a contract." And Brel basically says, I don't give a fuck if he has a contract. This is what I want. He says contracts are just words on paper. Guys, a contract is a legally binding words on paper. He wouldn't be able to sign with him. And then another executive basically stands up and goes, "But we're told that Rip's word is his bond." And Bro's like, "Well, fuck it. Get him to break his bond. Everybody's got a price." Another executive stands up and goes, "With all due respect, Mr. Bro, but others have asked that question." He gets pissed, slams the glass down on the poster of Rip, and tells him that to spare him the mealy mouth "with all due respect" crap, and that what this network needs, this network gets. And then he promises them that. He says even Rip has his price. So yeah, he's. It's obvious Brel is a bully and, is one of those I get what I want type of guys. Cut to the next morning, and Rip is showed up to the World Television Network. And and he is escorted into Brell's office, who is, being extremely friendly with him. Of course, they want him to sign. Tells him, his match was great, and he wants, that he really loved it. Tells him to sit down and relax. Offers him a chair that was crafted for Louis the 14th. Rip goes to sit in the chair, and you can hear a little bit of a creak because, this is a 300-pound man. So Brell offers him some fruit juice, all that good stuff. He doesn't want anything. And Brell decides to get straight to the point. He wants Rip to sign with the World Television Network. And he says, I know I got a contract, but hear me out. And here's what he's proposing. He says he wants him on the network and that he's willing to pay him for it. He says he'll pay whatever it takes. Rip basically tells him that he's not interested. He gets up to leave, and Brell puts his hand on his shoulder, and Rip looks like he's going to rip his arm off already. Brell tells him, don't think I don't know what you're doing. And he hands Rip a check. It is a blank check. And tells him just to fill in the amounts, and that's what he'll pay him. Rip just shakes his head at it, gets up, and goes to leave. And Brell asks him, where are you going? And Rip says he's leaving. And Brell stops him from leaving, puts his hands on him. It's like, dude, do you got a fucking death wish? This guy is like towering over you. Brell is getting pissed and tells him that he finds it a little hard to swallow, what is my money not good enough for you? He finds that a little hard to swallow, you jockass. And apparently the jockass is what pisses off Rip. Not, the fact that Brell's put his hands on him like 3 times now. And all that good stuff. So Rip picks up the check, grabs Brell, and tells him that he won't be around when this check clears, and shoves the check essentially down Brell's throat. Rip leaves and does his hand signal as he's leaving for no fucking reason. Brell coughs up the check and gets on his phone and tells him to get the limo. So as the limo's leaving, it turns left out of the parking lot, and Rip is trying to tell the guy, hey, you were supposed to turn right back there. It drives around for a little bit more, and Rip's getting impatient in the back, telling him he's going the wrong way. And all of a sudden, the window between the driver and the passenger, all the windows in the back and the sunroof all have this metal, like this steel wall that comes up, trapping Rip in the trapping him in the limousine. Rip in the back starts kicking and punching the limo, and apparently this is causing the limo to swerve. He's starting to put dents in the door of the limo, and the limo driver keeps swerving through traffic and everything. Hits like a ticket booth almost. Basically a wooden box is really all it is. Pulls into this warehouse, and like the limousine's fucked. Like it's completely destroyed. Pulls into this warehouse area where there's a bunch of guys waiting, about 3 guys waiting. No, it's about 4 guys. I'm sorry. It's about 4 guys waiting. We go to the back, and Rip is pissed. He's growling. The guys are checking on the limo, and all of a sudden, a giant explosion comes out of the roof, and Rip jumps out and lands on the roof of the limo. The guys start to attack him one at a time, and basically, Rip just starts beating the shit out of him. Jumps onto the hood, clotheslines another guy who's come at him, punches another guy. Like I said, there's about 4 guys he's beating up. And it's like they're just attacking ninja style, the one at a time. One guy swings a bar at him. He punches this guy and basically hits him with an uppercut, knocks him into a bunch of barrels. Grabs two of them, does the double, or throws them across the car. They go flying. So now we're down to two. They're knocked out. Guy tries to hit him with a bottle. He punches him a couple times, picks him up, and press slams him through the windshield onto the limo driver. Kicks the other two guys get up. Rip kicks one. The other guy punches him, and it does nothing. And he gets that scared. Look, when you hit somebody and it doesn't do anything. Rip picks him up. Or next guy, Rip trips him off the roof, picks him up, slams him into the car, and then dumps him into the sky roof of the backseat of the limo. All the thugs are dispatched. He looks inside, sees the limo driver, who is fucking crying like a baby. Rip starts walking around to the driver's side, rips the driver's side door clear off the car, grabs the limo driver, and it cuts to the limo driver's back, and his ass is soaking wet. His pants are soaking wet. He grabs him. He's about to beat the shit out of the driver. The driver is crying. And I'm not, when I say crying, he's not just tears. He's literally going like that, like a baby. Rip stops and starts sniffing. Like he smells something bad. And he looks at the driver and just goes, "What's that smell?" And the driver, I swear to God, just goes, "Dookie." So now we have a shit joke in the movie. Yeah. Well, Rip decides that this guy's dignity is already fucking gone as he's crying like a child and has shit himself. That he's going to let him live, I guess, because we cut now to, I guess, the network that he actually works for, we really don't know. And he's being introduced to Samantha N. Moore, his new publicist. He did not know that Sam was a woman. A very beautiful woman. So they introduce, he gets introduced to her. We cut to a boardroom where she's talking about, where she starts to talk about looking at the briefs, or tells him to look at the briefs in front of him. And she starts talking about merchandising, that there's an opportunity overlooked in the sportswear market, which, no, in 1980s wrestling, there really wasn't. There was a shit ton of Hulk Hogan shirts. And she keeps talking. She keeps talking about what she's going to do for the company, and he goes to ask a question, and she tells him to, questions at the end. Personal appearances, all this stuff, and he's just looking her up and down. The third item is television exposure, which he's got plenty of television exposure. And essentially, he's not paying attention. She notices that he's not paying attention. So she asks him what he thinks. And essentially, he doesn't like it. Or she asks, about the Rip character, and Rip goes into a third person, like Hulk Hogan did at his trial, or at the trial for the Gawker lawsuit. Miss Moore, the character of Rip, would like to tell you that his main outside interest is his charity work. He says maybe you guys could talk about it at a later time. She just looks and goes, or he says, I don't mean to be rude, but let's talk about it later. She tells him that dinner, and she'll pick him up at 8. Basically, now they've got a date set up, and he looks like a deer in the headlights. we cut to what looks like a church. It is definitely stained glass with an image of Jesus, somebody playing a harp. But in all actuality, it is a restaurant. It is a very fancy restaurant. Rip walks in a completely white suit. It is French, needless to say. So the waiter essentially is making fun of and completely ignoring Rip. Sam basically says, hopefully there's something on the menu that you like. He smirks and looks down. The waiter is essentially hitting on Sam. One of the busboys comes over because he recognizes Rip, and the waiter shoos him away, which kind of pisses Rip off. And he keeps making snide remarks about Rip to Sam and things like that. He tells her that he recommends the quiche, and he looks over at Rip and goes, "So that's cheese pie with snails to you." Again, Rip's starting to get pissed. And the waiter kind of knows it because he's like, I need to stop making fun of this guy. Sam says, no, I don't think that he would like that. The waiter basically starts going, well, if you are looking for le hamburger or American or le footlong hot dog. And again, you can see Rip getting pissed and looks over at the guy, and the guy again notices how big Rip is and Rip could probably rip him to shreds. Sam tells him why don't you try the beef bourguignon? It's like a stew. When all of a sudden, all of the chefs and the kitchen staff all come out because, and he looks at the chef looks at the waiter and goes, Antoine, you naughty boy. You should have said that our friend is here. Apparently Antoine is new and doesn't fucking know that, Rip is a regular customer of the French restaurant and can actually speak French. The chef basically tells Antoine to fuck off and looks at Rip and tells him that, would you like the usual? He looks Rip looks like so smug, looks at Sam and smiles and goes, heh. We now cut to what is, I guess, best described as a dive bar honky tonk put together. But then again, if you've ever been to a honky tonk, it's just a dive bar. As two guys headbutt each other. And it is this grimy, dirty, smoky bar where in the middle of the bar is a ring where there are two guys just beating the shit out of each other. And it's a bunch of redneck white trash types. Walking into the bar, down the stairs and into the bar, are Brell, what are their names? Ordway and Unger. Brell looks around. He says that his sources tells him that the next big thing is down here. They see a waitress walking by. We get more action of the guys beating the shit out of each other, but they see a waitress walking by, and Unger stops her and asks, and tells her that their party would like to be seated. And she's looking at them because they're in suits and everybody else is like in t-shirts, jeans. Again, it's one of those. It's what Vince McMahon thinks a regular dive bar would look like, honestly. The woman is like snorting, and she asks them if they're cops, and they're like, no. And she immediately goes, oh, you must be looking for the gay bar. That's across the street. That was pretty funny, actually. And Bro looks at her and just like, are you fucking serious? And she eventually goes and seats them. Says that she's going to put them on the ringside and let the headbangers sort their asses out. And Bro asks headbangers. He goes, the guy's in the ring. So Ordway and Unger order a scotch on the rocks and a dry martini, and she tells them that she'd like to get laid, relayed, and parlayed, but that ain't happening at this table. So what's you gonna? Brell basically says 3 beers. Orders 3 beers. She goes to fetch. As behind them, it's gonna end up being her brother. It's gonna be the guy's gonna be her brother. But guys, we now have a legend in the movie. He did well in America, but he made his name way more in Japan. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Stan Hansen in the movie. He appears behind him, and he's got his, signature chaw, his, or not chaw, but his signature chewing tobacco in his mouth and his chaw. There is a midget in a cage throwing peanuts at the suit guys, at the corporate guys. The fight gets a little close to them. Ordway and Unger don't like it. Brell is looking around going, we may have stumbled on something here. Go back to the guys in the ring beating the shit out of each other. They get a little too close to the suits. We cut to Stan Hansen, who is, I guess his name is Neanderthal in this movie. They really don't call him anything. He's cheering on Joe, and Unger is trying to ask him a question. Neanderthal spits, his tobacco juice on his foot. Unger goes, gross. Am I getting there? Yeah, Unger. This is Unger. Unger goes, gross, and asks where the referee is. Neanderthal looks around for a second and goes, oh, the referee's at the bar drinking beer. And we cut to the referee, who is groping on a woman. And he looks, and he asks, why is the ref not in the ring? Neanderthal tells him the referee's supposed to be outside. And Unger asks about the rules. Neanderthal says, rules? Last one standing wins. Just don't kill nobody. Them's the only rules. Bro gets excited, saying those are his kind of rules. One guy throws the other out of the ring, breaks the table, and he starts celebrating because he has won the fight. The midget is opening a beer in the cage above the ring. The waitress finally shows up with the beers, and Ordway asks what credit card they take. The waitress tells him, no, cash only. And if you ain't got it, my brother over here will rip your lips off. Her brother is Neanderthal, of course. He starts laughing at him. Brell gives her $100 bill, and tells the waitress basically that, and tell your brother he can keep the change if he takes on that guy in the ring. Neanderthal grabs the money out of Brell's hand, jumps in the ring, and starts attacking Joe. So now they're fighting, kicks him in the ass. They're in the ring fighting. And we cut to just a bunch of shots of people cheering and all that good stuff. As the fight's going on, I guess a guy gets a little too handsy with the woman. She kicks him in the face, slams his head on the table, and now he's knocked out. Back in the ring, Neanderthal has won his fight. Somebody throws him a keg. He punches a hole in it and literally shotguns a keg of beer. Ordway and Unger are still just appalled by everything. The midget is still throwing peanuts at him, and it's funny as hell. And Bro goes, these are our kind of people. And Unger tells him, well, these people would cheer a hanging. And Brell tells him, exactly. This could be just what we were looking for. So Brell's getting an idea. Neanderthal finishes his beer and walks out of the ring. Orway and Unger decide they have to go to the bathroom. So they run to the bathroom, and when they get in there, it is the trough. Every man hates the trough because you're basically walking up to this giant tub of water and piss, and there's ice in it. We don't know why there's ice in it. I mean, I think we do know why there's ice in it, and you basically have to whip it out in front of everybody and pee in this trough. I hate the trough, personally. Well, they get inside, and this one's overflowing. And Ordway looks at Unger and goes, "Do you really have to go?" And Unger tells him, "Yeah, I forgot to go before." So they walk up and they start going to the bathroom and start talking about the people. Ordway goes, "Man, I can't believe Bro's serious about this." And Orway says, "These are the stupidest, crudest, most subhuman beings I have ever encountered." And Unger starts talking about the waitresses, saying that they ought to be in body bags, not wet t-shirts. And they keep talking. All this shit when they hear a toilet flush behind them, and they turn around and look. And it's Neanderthal, and he's pissed. He breaks the bathroom door open and looks at him and goes, "Who are you calling an idiot, maggot?" He walks up to the guy, to Unger, it's not Unger. Ordway and Unger, it is Unger. Ordway and Unger grabs them by the back of their head and goes to shove their heads into the piss trough. And then stops and looks down and goes, he looks at Orway first and goes, "Well, what do we got here? A teeny wanger." He looks over at Unger, "And another teeny wanger." And he starts laughing at him, starts to let him up and goes, "It ain't worth it." And he just starts laughing as he walks out of the bathroom. Cut to the WTN offices again, where Brell is having a news conference announcing that next month the World Television Network will be premiering a great new show, Battle of the Tough Guys, where essentially the competition will be open to any red-blooded American who's got the guts to get into the ring and find out just how tough he is. It's a tough man contest. And the winner will get $100,000. And as he's saying this, it's showing a few guys, hearing this and, doing their poses and stuff as they decide. These are obviously the guys that are going to enter. Cut back to the bar, and it's a big to-do. They've got, spotlights going, the production trucks, the news trucks. Brell and company arrive in a limo, and they've cleaned the place up just a little bit as they are going to basically film a TV show here. But it's still the same dirty ring with tires as ring posts and that. So they walk up and they get introduced to a few of the guys. Brock Chisler. Brell likes them all, of course. We get Bulldog McPherson, who is a truck driver, who's pretty fucking big, actually. Brell tells him not to let the other guy he's standing 5 feet from, not to walk out of here. And we get to meet Klondike Kramer, who is spraying himself with something. And Brell just says, "Keep him away from me." So we cut over. There's Neanderthal and the waitress. And Neanderthal's good. And basically, Brell walks away, leaving Unger and Ordway with him. And Neanderthal goes, "Well, look at what it is. Teeny wanger." Basically, get the teeny wanger joke again. So Brell gets in the ring and starts introducing the most exciting night in the history of sports, World Television Network brings you live the Battle of the Tough Guys. And basically, we get montage of the same three guys beating the shit out of each other for a couple of minutes until somebody knocks the whole fucking this giant door down. We even get to see the referee at a table. And in walks this giant behemoth of a man. And ladies and gentlemen, making a pretty fucking spectacular entrance, Zeus. So a waitress walks up to him and goes, excuse me. He fucking face palms this woman, picks her up, and then drops her into the barrel of peanuts below, breaking the peanuts and knocking a bunch of people over. Zeus just stands there looking menacingly, starts walking down the steps towards the ring when the referee gets in front of him for some fucking reason. And Brel just looks around and tells the ref, let him fight. So Zeus enters the ring and just starts beating the shit out of Klondike and McPherson. Bull McPherson, I think was his name. Doesn't matter. These guys are essentially just fodder as he's choking the shit out of McPherson. Klondike keeps hitting him from the back and he's just ignoring it till he finally gets pissed off, turns around, face palms Klondike, knocks McPherson out of the ring, picks Klondike up, and not only throws him out of the ring, but throws him over Brel, over Ordway, and Unger. We cut to Rip at his house, where everybody's sitting at the TV watching this Battle of the Tough Guys thing. And I don't know one guy we don't know who it is. It's the brother, a guy, and another young girl. I don't know who two of these people are. They don't really matter because they don't get introduced the rest of the movie either. But they're watching. Finally, Neanderthal decides he's going to get in there. Zeus catches his fist, pushes him to the ground. Ordway and Unger are happy about this. Finally, Rip's manager, what was this guy? Charlie. Rip's manager, Charlie, recognizes him. And he says, yeah, I know him, but I'm not proud of it. Way back, I was his trainer for a while, but I just couldn't control him. So I had to let him go. And then I heard he killed some kid in the ring after the bell. Anyway, he got sent up for a long time. So basically, Zeus is a convict who got released. Nice to know. So he's still beating the shit out of Neanderthal. He drops his arms basically on the shoulders of Neanderthal. Bends down in front of Brel. Rips a chunk of Neanderthal's hair out and just screaming. Brel gets up, gets in the ring, introduces the winner and $100,000 richer, the champion of the Battle of the Tough Guys. He asks him what his name is. He grabs the mic and just goes, Zeus. Just like that. And again, it was pretty cool. Zeus was a badass. Even in wrestling, he was kind of a badass. And we cut to Rip, who is staring intently at the TV. Now we cut to the next day in the boardroom where everybody's reading the same paper, ex-con Zeus, Thriller or Killer. The overnights are in, and they're number one in their time slot. And just like Zeus, we kicked some ass. Everybody cheers for him. Brel sits down because apparently there are some telegrams that came into their PR department last night. And the executive says that he's afraid they have a very serious problem. Brel doesn't look impressed. But one of the telegrams is that someone wrote in that their son had violent nightmares. after watching your grotesque show. It is my intention to organize a nationwide coalition. And Bro just looks and goes, well, they watched it, didn't they? That's all that counts. Let them talk. Now, this is where Vince McMahon's coming out again, in all honesty. He says, let them complain. Let them shout it to the heavens. And all it does is keep us in the headlines, which basically that's that bullshit theory of any news is good news. No, bad news is bad news, guys. Any attention is good attention. No attention, bad attention is bad attention. So now we cut to a boiler room with a bunch of flames going off, and it's the battle of the tough guys. Night 2, where Zeus is going to defend his title against Lug Wrench Perkins. We get a shot of the referee in the background, which looks like they just took a referee shirt and threw it on the first guy they came across. All his co-workers are cheering him on. When finally Zeus shows up in a whole new outfit, Lug Wrench slams he has a lug wrench, a giant lug wrench in his hands. He slams it down, and him and Zeus go to fighting. Lug Wrench starts by, swinging the lug wrench at him. Zeus is dodging. We go back to Brell's office where he's watching the fight, and he's getting excited because these men are about to explode. Brell says he amazes himself, and we cut to Ordway and Unger. It was Ordway's birthday, and he got a camera for his birthday. Brell looks at it and essentially gets an idea. We cut back to the boiler room, and Zeus has defeated his opponent. And from the looks of it, I think we're supposed to think this guy's dead. We cut away now after Zeus is celebrating. We cut away to Sam in the back of a limo on the phone with someone saying that, yes, of course, everything's under control and that she'll call him. She tells the person that she'll call them after they've checked in. Rip is getting in the limo with her. I guess they're going on some kind of business trip. We have no idea. They don't really talk about what the business trip is for. He introduces her to Randy, who is his brother. And I'm assuming this is a private jet for Rip that they flew on. It's a very small plane. It's landing. They get off the plane, get in, blah blah blah. Really nothing going on except that she's explaining to him that her company's made all the arrangements, the hotel, travel arrangements, everything. And Rip says, well, except for where we're going to eat, because I know the great place. We cut to a diner where we have a pretty big woman bringing some food out to them. And apparently this is somewhere he comes. This is Miss Sadie, by the way. And apparently he comes here every time he's in town, and it's been a while. And she's doing that flirting stuff that, servers do or waitresses do when they want a good tip. And it's funny. It's funny because this is the 80s, and yeah. All of a sudden, two guys break in with guns, telling everybody to put their hands up and all their valuables and that. And nobody move or he'll blow their head. They'll blow their heads off. Sadie tells him to just take the money. Take the money and let everybody go. Rip looks over at Sam and goes, when I move, duck. Rip immediately moves. Sam hits the floor. Rip starts ripping up the bar stools that are bolted to the floor from over by the bar, and starts throwing them at the robbers. And then he starts picking up pies and fruit and stuff and throwing it at the second robber. He's already knocked the first guy out with the stool. And he keeps throwing pies and shit at this other guy. Finally, he locks up with him, grabs the gun. It fires off in the air. But then it gets pointed at the robber's head. Rip knees him in the gut, punches him in the face, throws him over the brick or down the brick, like does the sliding on the bar thing that people, they used to do in the 80s a lot. The other guy gets up, goes to attack him. Rip clotheslines him, breaks another table, throws him over the bar as well, punches him a couple times, and throws him over the bar as well. And that's it. Like, probably $5,000 worth of damage for the more than likely couple of $100 that she had in the till. So, yeah. Everybody's clapping. He hugs Sadie, and he's making sure she's okay. She says she's just fine. And starts laughing and goes, well, I see you ain't lost your touch. Everybody gets up and starts clapping for him. And Sam gets this weird look in her eyes like, maybe I'm wrong about him. Cut to the hotel room, and yeah, it was supposed to be twin beds, but it's a single. He looks at her and says, well, your office made the sleeping arrangements, or made the reservations. She's pissed off about it. While she's in the bathroom getting ready for bed, Rip has built a kind of a wall from the hotel lamp to across the bed and put a sheet up so that basically they have their privacy. Meanwhile, he's walking around in a tank top and his underwear. She's in the bathroom doing nightly things, brushing her teeth and that. She opens the door and she's in a bra and kind of panties. So you're going to get into bed. You obviously don't want to sleep in the same bed as this person, but you're going to get into bed in your underwear with them. Now, I will tell you that I will say this. There was one time when I was living in Virginia, I was working at a kennel, and above the kennel, we had apartments. We had a hurricane coming through, and a bunch of us decided to stay in the apartments above the kennel and spend the night so we could be down there if any of the animals needed us, because we had dogs, cats, and we actually had a couple of the farm's ponies in the kennel to protect them because we didn't have any room in the barn. So we stayed upstairs. Me and my buddy played Madden all night, and one of the other girls decided to drop in and come over and stay with us. My buddy went to the bedroom, locked the door because he was not going to share the bed with anybody. Me and this girl, we knew each other, thankfully, had to share a futon. We laid the futon flat. We had to share the futon. And, yeah, we both kept our clothes on. We didn't climb into our underwear, as both Rip and Sam have done. So they both get in the bed, and she basically says, I guess this will work as long as you stay on your side of the bed. Rip tells her, what kind of animal do you think I am anyways? So they turn the light out, they go to sleep. After a little bit, she wakes up and the bed is shaking. And she just starts looking around like, what the fuck? She tries to look at the other side. She goes to look at the other side, and we see Rip with his feet on the bed doing push-ups. And this is way more of Hulk Hogan than I've ever wanted to see in my life. So she gets upset about it. She lays back to sleep. Cut back to Rip, who is finishing his workout, goes to hop into bed, and the bed immediately breaks. She rolls over on him. She rolls over, lands on top of Rip, and he looks at her and goes, we wouldn't have this problem if you stayed on your side of the bed. And she loses her shit, tries to slap him, and he looks at her and goes, chill out, the bed broke. Sam says, save it, Rip. Basically accusing him that he's trying to sleep with her. He grabs a bunch of stuff, he grabs the sheet that he had hanging up basically on the wall to make the wall, throws it at her, and tells her, "Look, you can have this. You build better walls than I could ever build." He puts some shorts on, grabs his stuff, and tells her that he's gonna go sleep on the sofa in the lobby because it has a better sense of humor than she does. She's upset. Cut to the next morning, and we're in Brell's office again, and he is saying, "God save me from conniving females and pretentious jocks." Cut to the left to see who he's talking to, and it's Sam. Turns out Sam has been hired to seduce Rip, but she ended up getting feelings for him. Brell starts going off on her, saying, "I've given your agency more business than they've ever had. And for this, I get a phone call in the middle of the night saying, 'Gee, Mr. Brell.' Sam just goes, 'He's a really nice guy.' And Brell says, 'I eat nice guys for breakfast.' She stands up in a huff and tells him, 'Not with my help, you don't.' And then Brell does the 80s bitch slap and knocks her down to the couch. I mean, he got it pretty good, too. She bounces off the couch and lands on the floor. Ordway, and he turns around to look at Ordway and Unger, who are now all of a sudden look away and start going. She starts crawling away. Bro goes, "Oh, no, you don't." Goes chasing after and apparently can't open his own office door as she gets away. Bro turns back and looks at Ordway and Unger, who are still going. Cut to Rip's house, and she's basically coming completely out to him, saying what's happened. Bro's an evil man, and she's sorry because she knows better, that she let him use her. Sees the bruise on her face, and he asks if Brell did this, and she's like, "Yeah." She asks him to let it go, and basically tells him that she just wants him to forgive her. And Rip's like, "Yeah, cool, it's cool. Don't worry about it. I forgive you." So they start joking around a little bit. She starts pushing him. He ends up falling backwards onto the couch. He pulls her down with him. She lands on top. They do the whole tickle thing a little bit. Next thing you know, they're making out on the couch. He goes to try to turn the TV off when he hears the news. There's a sports reporter talking about the fighter, the most feared man in the world, a fighter who is both admired and vilified. Rip turns and looks, and there's Zeus with the sports reporter. And all he does, instead of getting interviewed, he just looks into the camera and goes and yells, "Rip! I know you're out there." And it's kind of weird because Tiny Lister was cross-eyed. Or I guess he had a lazy eye, I think is what it is. So only one eye is looking at the camera, but it's still really fucking weird. For such a big man, Tells him that he's waiting for him and that he'll see him soon. We cut to a charity event where Rip is teaching some kids how to wrestle. He's acting as the referee. There's a bunch of trophies. It's like a big festival. Rip picks a couple of the kids up. He's smiling. All of a sudden, you hear a helicopter flying over the branches and the trees. And one of the boys is like, "What's happening?" Rip's telling him to get the kids back and that. Out of the helicopter gets Zeus, Brell, Ordway, and Unger. And they're doing the slow motion walk because, Zeus is that awesome. And they're walking towards Rip. Zeus gets in Rip's face, and they're just having a stare down. And essentially, Brell starts talking. Brell tells him, Zeus is waiting for your answer, Rip. And essentially Brell's also brought the news media there with him on purpose. Brell says, well, gentlemen, I think we got our answer. Rip refuses the challenge. Rip has backed down from Zeus. And Brell lifts Zeus' hands and says, Zeus, the undisputed champion of the world, which, yeah, there's quite a bit of dispute to that, in all honesty. So there's still, Hogan and Zeus are still staring each other. Rip and Zeus are still staring each other down. Brell backs Zeus up. Orway and Unger try to look tough as they walk past Rip. The people are booing him. The kids are asking, you're not really afraid of him, are you? As the helicopter starts to take off again. We cut to the training area where Charlie is talking to Hogan or to Rip saying, everybody looks up to you. Rip says, they think I backed down. Like, no, nobody thought you backed down. You did the right thing. Charlie says he was proud of him. And they make up. He makes Rip feel better. Cut to a garage where Sam is getting out of her car with a bunch of clothing and files and all that good stuff. Basically her work stuff. And it looks like she's trying to walk into her apartment or something. Puts the code in. Somebody grabs her from behind. Throws her on the car. And I believe this guy's trying to rape her. Yeah, this is a PG-13 movie from the 80s that kids would definitely be watching. Hello. Like, kids would be watching this movie. And now there's rape? Yeah, like, he's got her down on the ground. All of a sudden, Rip shows up on a motorcycle, asking her if she's okay. She's crying and shakes her head yes. He goes, hold on a second, I'm going to go beat this guy's ass. He starts chasing the guy down on his Harley. The guy is running for his life. Rip misses him and finally knocks him down. Turns back around. The guy's on the ground trying to get up slowly. Rip goes chasing after him. The guy basically is bent over, looks through his legs and sees the chopper, the motorcycle and Hogan. And Hogan Rip coming right after him. The guy gets stuck on the front of Rip's Harley, and Rip grabs his hair and says, Harley and me and you in the tree. And he keeps going straight through traffic, misses all the traffic, stops, the guy goes flying, smacks onto a tree, and in all honesty is fucking dead. Rip just killed a guy. In the actual WWF, when they were wrestling, I'm pretty sure he did, because Hogan won the fight, and then you wouldn't see Zeus again until 1996, maybe, and uncensored in that like Doomsday cage match with Hogan and Savage had to go through all those layers of the cage and different people on each layer, and at the bottom was waiting the Loch Ness Monster and Z Gangster. So, yeah. So, Hogan just essentially killed a fucking guy. Or Rip just killed a guy. Speeds back across. We cut to another guy in a car. Again, we don't know the names of these people. Doesn't matter. He goes speeding off. Rip goes back in to check on Sam, who is crying by the car. He holds her and hugs her. And tells her that, I hate it when you hurt. This woman who started out as a very strong character is now been bitch slapped and almost raped. What the hell are we doing? So we now cut to Randy walking through a train yard where there's a lot of welding going on and sparks and that. Essentially, this is Zeus. This is Zeus's next fight. They're walking in, and Zeus is already fighting a guy who is swinging what looks like a metal. Oh no, it's a crowbar at him. And Randy and the friend are just watching, like trying to get a better look at the guy. Zeus is beating his shit, just beating the living shit out of this guy. Finally beats him down, chokes him, shoves him to the ground. The random guy in a referee shirt calls for the bell, I guess. And Zeus is the winner again. People are booing. He goes and chases them all away. As Brell, Ordway, and Unger get out of the what do you call it? The satellite van, I guess. And they're laughing that everybody's running away. Randy got knocked down. The security picks them up and brings them over to Brell, and Brell because they ran into Brell. And he Brell recognized him and he goes, "Well, what do we have here? Zeus converting Rip fans? Great, that's what I like to see." And Randy makes the mistake Randy tells him we're not Zeus fans. And the other guy with Randy, again, we never know this guy's name, tells him, "That's right, that's Rip's brother. Rip is his brother." And Bro goes, "Oh, really?" And essentially, Brell calls Zeus over, he doesn't call Zeus over. He has security grab Brandy and the friend, brings them over to Zeus, and essentially, Zeus starts choking him out. Randy tries to fight back, and he's actually ducking and dodging him, but Zeus catches him again and just starts beating the shit out of Randy. Brell is smiling at it. We cut to the next day where Rip has found Zeus's training area. And he's walking around looking for Zeus until he finds Brell on a TV. And he tells Rip, or basically it's what he finds is Brell kind of brainwashing Zeus, saying stuff like, do you hear, Zeus? Rip said the maggots will gag on your rotting flesh. Rip starts tearing up the studio, looking for Zeus. He goes into this one room where he sees there's a bunch of mirrors, and he sees Zeus against the wall. Rip goes running with the Axie Boomba and ends up breaking a mirror that had a hologram of Zeus on it. He keeps looking around, and of course, he can't find Zeus. So he hears Brell, Ordway, and Unger talking, and he picks up a dumbbell and throws it at the Zeus symbol, which explodes into a shower of sparks. Brell, Ordway, and Unger are laughing at the office as Rip continues to destroy the studio. Now we cut to the hospital bed where Randy has a neck brace on. Charlie and Sam are there. Rip is over his brother's bed. And he's telling him that he knows he stood up to Zeus and he's damn proud of him. But it was really fucking stupid. And he tells Randy that it's his turn. And Hogan is sobbing. We cut to Brell in a studio wrestling ring, and he is announcing that Rip has accepted the challenge. So next week on the Battle of the Tough Guys, Rip will be defending the World Championship against Zeus. Then we cut to Zeus training, punching cinder blocks with his bare fucking hands. Because we're getting a montage back and forth of Zeus working out and Rip working with his brother, trying to get his brother walking again. Because apparently his brother is fucking paralyzed. So the brother's slowly, but surely getting better. We cut back. Now Zeus is working with the TV again, telling him what Rip thinks of him. Rip said maggots would gag on your rotten flesh, all that stuff. Zeus is working out. Now we cut back to the hospital where Randy is now working out. Not Rip, but Randy. They're trying to get him moving his legs again. Which is slowly but surely starting. We cut now to the studio where Brell looks around and one of the executives asks, well, what if Rip wins? No more tough guy. And Brell almost like, oh, I did not think of that. But being the dickhead that he is, he looks and goes, Rip will not win this fight. Ordway, Unger, essentially he wants them to kidnap Sam the night of the show, and they're going to do the whole, and that they will do the whole, either lose or we'll kill her, Night of the show, Rip is in his locker room with Charlie. And Rip tells him that it doesn't feel right without Charlie, or without Randy here. Oh, excuse me. Cut to an elevator where Randy, the friend, the girlfriend, and Sam are getting out of the elevator. But the security guard stops Sam and push her back in the elevator. The friend tries to stop the elevator, but it closes. The elevator doors close. And it starts going up. Meanwhile, Randy's in his wheelchair going, wait, what's going on back there? What's going on? I don't know what's going on. So now, Sam has been brought to the main office with Ordway and Unger. And Ordway is telling her that she gets to watch Zeus mutilate her boyfriend from up here. She tries to push the security guard off, but they put her in a chair. They don't tie her to the chair. They don't chain her to the chair. They don't handcuff her to the chair. They just set her in the chair. They call Brell, and they tell him that they have Sam. Brell calls up Rip and basically tells him, we've got Sam. Make it look good for 10 minutes. And then he goes down. So it's real wrestling. It's real wrestling. It's fake. Rip doesn't look very happy. Rip doesn't look happy about this, needless to say. And Rip tells Charlie and Randy's friend that they've got 10 minutes to find her. Back in the arena, the referee is checking everything to make sure. But as soon as the fight starts, his only duty will be to stop the fight and to declare a winner. Same rules. And it's basically the announcer hyping up the crowd. And now the World Television Network proudly presents a brutal, unconventional contest. A no-holds-barred, no quarter given, fight to the finish. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenger. The World Wrestling Federation heavyweight champion, Rip. Rip comes out and he gets to a massive applause. Looks around, still can't find anybody. Brell is smiling as he looks up at the clock. Zeus gets introduced. The security guards are kind of paying more attention to the TV than they are, the prisoner that's not tied up or chained or anything. Nothing's stopping her from just running out the fucking door. So they give Zeus the big entrance. Rip tears his shirt off because he's Hulk Hogan. And as the ring announcer is still introducing everything, Zeus just backhands the ring announcer, knocking him out of the ring. The referee goes flying. Everybody goes flying, and it's just Zeus and Rip in the ring. The bell dings, and here we go. We get a nice stare down until Zeus essentially kicks Rip in the dick. He bitch slaps Rip a couple of times, takes the world title off of him, and starts hitting him with it. The crowd is bloodthirsty. Rip is getting his ass whooped. Brandy's saying, "Come on." The security guards are getting into, are really getting into the match. Sam walks up. Sam gets up and starts to walk away. One of the guards gets up and the chair goes flying and almost hits her. She slowly pushes it back. So as the security guard goes to sit down, so he doesn't fall and notice, hey, she's getting up and leaving. But Sam essentially just opens the door and walks the fuck out. The security guards are still cheering on Rip, or cheering on Zeus. Rip looks at the clock, starts beating up on Zeus. Like I said, Sam opens the door and walks away. The guard slams his keys down, looks over, and she's gone because nobody was fucking watching her. Ordway, Unger, and both security guards go running because they're panicking now. So, yeah, that just blows my mind that they just left her there. No chains, nothing. That doesn't work for me either. It doesn't work for me either, no. But yeah, it just blows my mind. They didn't tie her up, no chains, no handcuff, nothing. So she just gets up and goes, "Oh, fuck this. I'm not going to stay here if I don't have to." So Rip and Zeus are still battling back and forth. Everybody, this is a very bloodthirsty crowd on top of that. But here's the thing that's getting me too is Hulk. This is a very violent movie for being a movie, again, in the 80s. Hogan was, kids loved him. I was a Hulkamaniac. But I watched horror movies, so watching a movie like this didn't affect me. But you can't sit here and tell me that there were other kids watching this and the parents going, "What the fuck are we? Why am I letting my kid watch this?" I mean, we've already had rape. We've had a woman get bitch slapped. We've had, Rip pretty much killed a guy. Like, what more do we need? And the movie's it's almost over. It's not over yet. But it's getting there. I'm waiting for the movie to catch up with an ad. But yeah, it's just... There's so much stuff that probably shouldn't be in a PG-13 movie. But again, this is the 80s, and you got to remember, guys, Beetlejuice is a PG movie, and he drops the F-bomb. Jaws is a PG movie, and there's plenty of blood in Jaws. But back to the show. Zeus and Hogan are trading blows. Brell is pacing back and forth. Rip's punches don't seem to be working on Zeus. Cut to Sam, who's running for her life, trying to get on an elevator, hitting all the elevator buttons. They're screaming, "Don't let her get in the elevator!" The security guards and Orley and Unger see her. The security guard slides, tries to catch the elevator, and almost crushes his hands. Sam has gotten away. Orway gets in the face of the security and tells him, "I told you to do something to stop her. Shoot her. Anything." So now we're going to kill this woman. Good Lord. They all go running as she starts going down, trying to get to the arena to show Rip that she's fine and safe. The security guards, Ordway and Unger, are running down the stairs trying to catch her. Back in the match, Zeus has Hogan in a test of strength, and Rip in a test of strength, and Zeus seems to be winning. Rip gets a look at Brel. He's trying to make it look good. Zeus is crushing Rip's hands as they continue the fight up against the ropes. And Zeus is essentially choking Hogan or Rip with the ropes. Sam is still slowly going down the elevator. As she gets to her floor that she's on, Ordway, Unger, and the security guards are there. Charlie and the friend are there as well, and they start beating the shit out of Ordway, Unger, and the security guards. Charlie has a fire extinguisher and is hitting everybody with it. Back in the match, one of the turnbuckle pads has come off, and Zeus slams Rip's head into it. And in a regular match, that would be a knockout. But because this is supposed to be a real fight, Zeus has now ripped off the turnbuckle and is trying to pull up the ring post. His eyes are blurry, and he finally coming to focus on Randy, who's like, dude, get up. Get the fuck up. You're about to die. Zeus is still struggling, trying to rip up the ring post, and he finally breaks it off and lifts it up high above his head, and he is going to murder Hulk. He's going to murder Rip, essentially. Zeus is standing over him with the ring post. Rip opens his eyes and goes, "Oh shit!" Rolls out of the way. The ring is completely falling apart. As finally, Charlie, the friend, and Sam have shown back up. Zeus is wrenching Rip's face in that like he's gonna break his neck. Brel looks down, sees Sam, and gets the "oh shit" look in his face. Apparently, the ref has gotten in the ring to stop the fight. Zeus throws the ref out. Brel is trying to call Ordway. Of course, nobody's going to answer because nobody's in the studio anymore. Zeus wrenches the neck of Rip, and is stomping on it. Rip sees Sam, sees his brother crying, begging him to get up. Rip sees... excuse me. Rip sees Randy's hands start to form the Rip signal. Charlie is outside yelling at Zeus. Zeus looks over and just fucking punts Charlie in the face, probably killing him. Sam is yelling at him, yelling at Zeus to stop. Zeus goes to stomp on Rip again, but Rip catches the foot. And he's ends up pushing Zeus off. Rip is up again. And now we're trading punches again. Zeus with a punch and Rip goes down. And Zeus is standing, victorious over him. But now Rip is hulking up. The crowd is chanting, "Rip him, rip him." The announcer is still doing his job, over the PA system, which I hate. I hate when wrestling companies do that with the PA announcers with the commentator and that over the PA system. I hate that. Brel is screaming no because Zeus is not turned around. Rip is up. Zeus goes to hit him, and again Rip is hulking up, which means you can hit him as many times as you want. It's not going to hurt him. Zeus is confused as he's hit him twice and nothing. He's daring Rip to hit him. Zeus goes to hit him for a third time. Rip catches his fist, catches the second fist. Randy is smiling now as Zeus starts going down. Headbutt from Rip. Picks him up for a body slam, but Zeus drops the hand down. Rip drops him, looks up, picks him up again and body slams Zeus. Rip stands over Zeus. Zeus grabs Rip by the throat. Now Rip is grabbing Zeus by the throat. And they're struggling. Brel is yelling, get him, get him. Finally, Rip hits Zeus with the Axie Boomba. Rip jumps down and starts choking Zeus. Zeus is awake again all of a sudden, because Zeus has fallen out of the ring. Zeus puts Rip in a bear hug. They're still fighting on the outside of the ring now. They're trading punches. Zeus pushes Randy out of his chair and gives him a kick. Rip sees this and it pisses him off. So he goes after Zeus, who is walking away. Zeus picks a guy up and throws him at Rip, who catches him and saves his life. Rip still goes up. He's essentially chasing Zeus at this point. Zeus doesn't want any piece of part of Rip. Brel freaks out, shuts the door to his office, or to the studio. He's yelling at Zeus to come on. Zeus turns around, hits Rip. He goes flying down the stairs. It looks like Rip is unconscious, so Zeus is standing tall, turns around to Brel and is celebrating. But what he doesn't see behind him is Rip is coming up. He grabs Zeus's leg, slams it on the ground, punches him in the face, climbs back up on the I guess the not really ramp, but balcony with Zeus. They're still fighting. Brel is in the studio ripping shit up. There's no longer a signal. Rip backhands Zeus. Brel is still ripping shit out in the studio. Zeus is staggering. Rip with one more punch. He's staggering. He's ready to go down. Rip hits him again. And he's teetering. Zeus is teetering. And then Rip with the Axie Boomba. Zeus falls off the stage all the way down into the ring, putting a hole in the ring. And essentially we can assume Zeus is fucking dead. So now Rip has killed 2 people. Rip gets a smile on his face as he turns around to Brel, and Brel gets the ooh shit look on his face because he's trapped in this studio. Rip grabs a chair, puts it through the glass, and he's ready to beat the shit out of Brel. Brel tells him to stay away, and once again calls him a jackass as he backs up into the exposed cables and is electrocuted. And it's a long electrocution too. And then Brel falls down dead. Rip is celebrating, looks down, sees Randy is standing all of a sudden with his friends and Sam. Rip starts making his way down the stairs through the fans who are cheering for him. He looks up at the fans, does the salute, roll credits. That is no holds barred. There is so much good about this movie and so much that doesn't make sense. Because again, there are 3 dead people alone at the end of this movie. Like, we don't see Charlie again. We don't see Zeus again. And Brel, we know Brel's dead. From a wrestling match. So for a little bit of trivia, the movie was produced... Damn it. Go away. The movie was produced by star Hulk Hogan and his boss, World Wrestling Federation CEO, chairman of the board, or CEO, Vince McMahon, only to be distributed by New Line Cinema after completion. When the first draft of the script was turned in, Hogan and McMahon disapproved of it, so they checked into a hotel in Reddington Beach, Florida, and stayed up for 72 hours rewriting the script together. Remember how I said this has a lot of McMahonisms in it? Yeah. During the filming, there were a few accidents on set. Hulk Hogan accidentally broke Zeus's nose, and on another occasion, cut his hand open on the glass shards from the broken mirrors. So, yeah, as this film was executive produced by WWF owner Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan, many actual WWF personalities make appearance. Yeah, we talked about that at the beginning. The only one we didn't talk about was Joey Marella, who was the referee at the beginning of the match. Rib's finisher is a running double sledgehammer that the one Hogan used during his matches in Japan, where it was known as the Axe Bomber. In the Japanese Fire Pro series of wrestling games, many real wrestlers from different promotions are featured using fake names, and Hulk Hogan is known in that series as Axe Duggan. So, yeah, there's really nothing here that people don't know about. Apparently, Kurt Fuller, Brell, and Mark Pellegrino, Randy, both appear in Supernatural as Zechariah and Lucifer. So, yeah, let's see what we got. We don't have a budget. Hold on, let me get actually to the right page. Let's see. Filming location was pretty much filmed in Atlanta, Georgia. New Line Cinema put it out. The budget was $8 million. Opening weekend, it grossed $4,957,000. Total, though, worldwide, $16,093,651. So they did double their money. They got their money back. They didn't really lose money on it, but you hear McMahon talk about it, they did. So other than that, we have the rating. And again, I love this movie. I always have fun watching this movie. This is, of course, one of them ones that's not going to go on any of the lists because I've seen it so many times and I can't be prejudiced against it for one of my best of or worst of lists. So this would be one of the ones that do not make the list, any of the lists. But yeah, it's a good movie. It holds up outside of the the rape and the bitch slapping. It still holds up. I love this movie. I had fun watching it. I had fun covering it. The acting's not the greatest, but they're wrestler. Hogan's a wrestler. He's not really an actor. I believe Suburban Commando. I have more fun watching Suburban Commando than I do this one. But for what it is, this is still a good, fun movie to watch. So, four body slams. 4 body slams. I might even go higher. I could go higher because I enjoyed this movie. But this is also something I watched in my childhood. So that is gonna do it here on the Bloody Binge Movie Show. You can find me everywhere at the Bloody Binge Movie Show, on X, on Facebook groups, on YouTube. You can also find me on Twitch at SewerDweller78, on TikTok at SewerDweller. Coming up on the show next week, of course, is our 420 episode, a couple of days, about 5 days late, I believe. But we're going to be watching Evil Bong. After that, we have a great big lineup for you of shows coming up in May and February. Let me bring up the May and February? May and June. So for the rest of the month of May, we have the week after Evil Bong. Why didn't I put a title on this? The week after Evil Bong next week, it is halfway to Halloween, and we have 2 special shows that week. The first show will be Shivers, coming to you Thursday, May 1st, 9 p.m. I have gone through and I've gotten a few haunts to come on the show, and a few haunters to come on the show and talk to us and tell us stories of their paranormal experiences that they've had at their haunts. I figured it's a special way to bring it to celebrate halfway to Halloween with the paranormal and haunting. Followed up on Friday at 4 p.m., we are going to watch Jacko on the Bloody Binge show for a halfway to Halloween weekend. That's gonna be a fun weekend. The week after that is Mother's Day, I believe. Yeah, here we go. The week after that, May 9th, Mother's Day, we are going to be watching the 1976, I believe, cult classic Big Bad Mama. The week after that, on the 16th, we are watching Amityville Ripper. And on the 23rd of May, it is Memorial Day weekend. We are going to the beach and we are watching Club Dread, or Broken Lizard's Club Dread. And finally, on May 30th, the last day of school for most people, we are watching a sequel. Because the sequel doesn't really tie into the main movie, but we are watching Rock and Roll High School Forever, starring Corey Feldman. And finally, for June, we just announced the June lineup today. It is only a 3-movie lineup because on the 13th of June, I plan to be in Indianapolis, Indiana for Days of the Dead. Horror movie convention. I'm looking forward to that. But June 6th, we are watching Night of the Axe. June 13th, of course, there will be no shows because we are planning to be at the convention in Indianapolis. We come back for June 20th. We are watching ICP and WWE's Raven in the Asylum feature Death Racers. And finally, on June 27th, we are watching Death Screams. We are going to the carnival and watching Death Screams. So all of that coming up here on the Bloody Biz Movie Podcast on Shivers. And keep a lookout because Hardcore Heels will be coming back soon. We'll probably do an episode next week for WrestleMania with our reactions to WrestleMania and that. See how well I did on my predictions. Hopefully I can get Raz and Matt on to talk about the predictions. Also, you can find me tomorrow evening at Hell's Dungeon in Dayton, Ohio. We will be open for our 420 weekend, Easter 420 weekend. It's kind of both this week. But we got all of this coming up for you on the show. So, guys, as always, be good to each other and keep watching horror. Good night, everybody.